It is a perfect day for college football in downtown Los Angeles. The sun is out as you are watching a Pac-12 on ESPN. A new era has begun at USC. Caleb Williams, the star quarterback, is here. They brought in some defensive help from Alabama and Shane Lee. And of course, it all revolves around the new head coach, Lincoln Riley, who left Oklahoma to be the new head coach at USC. A new era is here, and we are here to bring it with you. Robert Griffin III, Joey Galloway, Matt Berry alongside. Gentlemen, I know it's a spring football game, but Robert, there's a lot of energy around this program.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of energy, and it comes because of Caleb Williams. This is the guy that turned the Red River Showdown on its head, leading his team to victory in dynamic fashion. They are excited to have him here, and he is the glue that keeps all these transfers together.
Yeah, it's no surprise you're going to go on the offensive side, and we know Lincoln Riley and his offense will be prolific. The question is, can they play better defense? Alex Grinch has a tall task ahead of him. This is a defense that struggled. I'm excited to see what they do today.
By the way, Joey's got the towel, so you know he's good to call a little football game. You'd mentioned Caleb Williams. Let's break him down a little bit more, Robert, because this is the player that when Lincoln came over as head coach, he knew to get this thing done, he needed a star quarterback.
Oh, he needed a starting quarterback, and why not bring in a guy who had more touchdown passes than all of USC's quarterbacks combined last year, despite not starting all of the games. He can do it with his arm, he's dynamic with his legs, and he's really keened in on beating teams from the pocket this offseason, so we'll see that on display today.
So it's been a roster overhaul. Lincoln told us about 38 roster turnovers, not just the quarterback, they brought in a couple of running backs as well.
Yeah, led by Travis Dye, came out of Oregon, 1,200 yards rushing, a playmaker. So when you look at this offense, look completely different from last season. Mario Williams also comes over from Oklahoma, so we'll see what these skill guys will bring to it. And if you have good skill guys on one side, it brings up the level of the defense going to have to work on stopping these guys.
Also notable, the receivers, Brendan Rice, the transfer comes in from Colorado. We expect to see him a lot today, but I can tell you this, the energy is up. USC is ready. Robert Griffin III ran a 4.3 on his way today at the Rose Bowl. Galloway's got the towel. I'm going to head up to the booth. We're going to have a ton of fun this afternoon. The USC Spring Game is coming up next. Molly McGrath is going to join us with Lincoln Riley. We're going to kick this thing off live right here on ESPN. Coliseum here in Los Angeles, California, the USC Spring Game in a new era with Lincoln Riley as head coach, Matt Berry, Robert Griffin III, and Joey Galloway going to bring you an intimate look at what's in store for this USC football program. And of course, the excitement stops and starts with the quarterback, Caleb Williams. Now to the third member of our team, and Molly McGrath.
Thanks, Matt. Coach, a new era for USC football. A lot of changes within this program. What has this spring been like for you?
It's been awesome. It has. The players have bought in. You can feel the culture changing every single day. A lot of months here of hard work just to get to this point, and what a beautiful day. It's going to be a great start.
What questions about this team and this group of guys do you want answered today?
I think a chance to do what we've been working on so hard in front of a crowd, and then I think a chance to appreciate getting to play in one of the great venues of all the sports. I mean, how awesome is this? So you only get a chance to do these so many times, and whether it's spring or fall, you better appreciate it, and I can promise you this team does.
And how will your quarterback, Caleb Williams, look different today in this offense versus the last time that we saw him on the field with a different team?
Yeah, I think he's progressed a lot. There's obviously been a lot of carryover, and we've been able to pick up a little bit where we left off, and so I think he's become a more mature player, understanding situations, and so hopefully he can put that on display today.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, Molly.
Matt, back to you.
Molly, thank you. Great stuff. You're going to see a couple of things that are going to be unique in terms of a college football game. For starters, the defense is already up 21-0. So we're going to run you through some of the rules here of the USC Spring Game. It is offense versus defense. They're going to play two 15-minute halves. Defensive point structures as follow. I said they 21 points to start. They get 3 points for turnovers, fourth down stop, basically any offensive mishap. And then, of course, the offense earns points for the standard touchdown and a field goal, anything they would typically do in a game for points and structure. So it's going to be fun because the defense already has the bragging rights. You heard Joey Galloway talk about it in the open, the fact that the defense is going to be something that Alex Grinch and this unit's going to have to take care of because they come in. You can't win this league unless you have a good defense. Grinch comes over, defensive coordinator from Oklahoma. He told us yesterday, look, we're going to get the talent here at Southern California, but we're also going to have to perform with effort. One of the players we're excited to see today, the Alabama transfer. We talked about him in the open. Shane Lee comes over. Excitement around a player who comes in from a program like Alabama. You need to build the foundation somewhere, and they're hoping 53, Shane Lee is one of those players. I know everyone excited to see Lincoln Riley coming over from Oklahoma. Perhaps the Pac-12 not excited for what this offense brings. Noted for his quarterback tutelage, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and of course now Caleb Williams, the latest to play quarterback for Lincoln. Can't get any more perfects than this. Joey Galloway's on the field, Robert Griffin on the field. We'll have some fun throughout the afternoon. We'll see Darwin Barlow and Travis Dye, the transfer from Oregon, deep to receive. And that's where we get our first look at the Oklahoma transfer. He was a true freshman, caught college football by storm last year. Caleb Williams, the new starting quarterback at USC. So Robert, what do you want to see out of him today?
Oh, for Caleb Williams, I just want to see him go out here and process, right? In the spring game, you're trying to get your numbers up, but you're also trying to get in rhythm here. So let's see how Lincoln Riley gets him going early with the easy completion to one of these star-studded wide receivers.
And Joey, what did you notice out of Caleb when you were at practice earlier in the week?
His leadership is really what people want to see. This is only his second year of football. It feels like we've talked about him so much that he's played a lot of football. This is his second year. His leadership, his ability to command this offense, and they're off to a great start running the ball.
And there goes Travis Dye, transfer number 1, gain of 13, brought down by Shane Lee, transfer number 2. And gentlemen, that's going to be one of the big stories for us this afternoon. This day and age in college football, you've got to build a team through the portal, and Joey, Lincoln's done that early on, bringing in guys from the transfer portal.
Yeah, you got to realize they have about 60 scholarship players on this team. Now, they're allowed to have 85. Most teams have 85 at this point. So their roster is going to grow. They're going to add players, which they need to do, and they understand that. And so as we look at this game today, we'll see a lot of their stars. But think about it, when you fast forward to the fall, there will be probably 25 more stars coming to this team as they get into that portal.
Nick Figueroa on the tackle, so an empty backfield. We don't expect to see too much of what Lincoln will run during the season, but get a good idea of Caleb and how he's grown here in his true sophomore season. So 2nd and 6, Caleb, quick throw across the middle. That's caught by Terrell Bynum. He is one of those transfers that came in from the University of Washington. And you guys are in for a treat for the viewers today, because I've got 2 college football stars down on the field with Robert and Galloway. You see them just lined up at around the 30-yard line. They're going to be able to see things the way Caleb sees them. So we're looking forward to that perspective here today. 3rd and short, guys. Big opportunity for the defense to get a stop early on. And it is Dye on 3rd and short. He will get the first down. Romello Height on the tackle. And let's talk about Travis Dye for a minute, guys, because he had a great career at Oregon. He's from the area, Norco, California, decided, you know what, I'm a 5th-year guy. I'm going to play my final year of college football back near my family and friends.
And Coach Dennis Simmons, the pass game coordinator, told us this will be a physical offense, and I think you're seeing it early, running the ball with success. And, Robert, you know the best friend of a quarterback is a run game.
Oh, without a doubt, and I love what Lincoln Riley is doing, employing the run game early on to show everybody that USC is not going to be this finesse football team.
As Brendan Rice, the son of Jerry Rice, who is on hand today, Kalen Bullock on the tackle. Brendan comes in from Colorado, another transfer we saw, so you got another one there. You got 3 in that setup. You've got Rice, you've got Caleb, and then they love this Austin Jones, the transfer out of Stanford, the running back.
Yeah, Matt, they said Austin Jones, people might not know him, but they will soon. He's making plays every single day in spring practice.
Play fake out of Caleb, tries to look downfield, has to get out of the pocket, directing traffic. Caleb can do this. This is how he electrified that offense last year in the Red River Shootout. Shane Lee chases him out. Robert, you know things break down. Use your legs.
Oh, without a doubt, Caleb Williams stayed in the pocket as long as he possibly could, but then when he got out, he tucked the ball, got out of bounds without getting hit. Of course, they're not going to hit the quarterback here in the spring game because they know that if they hit him, they probably won't be on the team anymore.
Interesting to me, all their passes before that play were quick passes. Get the ball out of his hands fast. That time they tried to go down the field, didn't see anything, and that's where Caleb Williams type quarterback comes handy. He can just take off running.
There's a spot, sits in the pocket, does a nice job finding his receiver. That's Kyron Ware Hudson. Brought down by Prophet Brown. Gain of 11.
You know, Matt, everybody knows this offense as the big play, shots down the field. You know, they've led the country in many offensive categories while Lincoln Riley was at Oklahoma. But what they're showing right here is that they're not afraid to dink and dunk, establish the run game, and get the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands fast. That's good to see.
Prophet, heavily recruited by Lincoln Riley, went at Oklahoma. Ended up coming here to USC. It all ended up working out. Playing for Riley anyway. That's a quick give to Guy, and a good job defensively by 49. That's the guy that they love, Tui Tuilapeloto. He's the star up front. He's the guy where this thing's gonna have to go. Tui Peloto making a play early.
Yeah, Tui led his team in sacks last season. He's a guy that they look to on this defense. We talked to Alex Rins. They talked about effort. How can they lead the country in giving effort? That's an effort play and a huge play for this defense.
Tui Peloto, the leader up front. Yeah, Joey, he made a good point. He said, look, you can turn on the tape of Georgia all you want. They're talented, but the effort went with the talent.
Yeah, if you turn on the tape of Georgia, hey, Matt, I don't know that the Georgia defense is one that you want to compare things to. They were extremely talented up front. If you have that kind of talent, you do different things, which Georgia did. But this is a different type of defense. They don't have the same size as a Georgia defense, so they're looking for the same kind of leadership. They're looking for the same kind of effort. And as we look at this now coming up on a third down, we talk about these defensive points. This is a huge play.
That was Corey Foreman. #1 ranked player in the country coming out a year ago. Disappointed true freshman season by all accounts out of Foreman. He's looking forward to a switch in scenery with his coaches as we see Austin Jones split out empty backfield, and Joey said it, an opportunity here for the defense. Caleb looks left, throws left, has his receiver. That'll be a first down. And a great job, yards after catch by John Jackson. Joey, what did you see out of the route?
Again, they're getting the ball out of Caleb Williams' hands. It's a nice quick route on the left side, and so it was a 3rd and 3. You want to get the ball out of your hands, don't try to do too much. That's part of the growth of Caleb Williams. Take what the defense gives you, take that little 5 yards, move the chains, and now you got 1st and 5 and goal.
Oh, you're spot on there, Joey. You can't score unless you're trying to score, but sometimes you just got to take what they give you. You can't go broke taking a profit.
Caleb early on, 4 of 4 for 33 yards, perfect on the afternoon. Austin Jones back in the backfield, ball spotted at the 6. The give to Jones off the right side, met immediately by the defense. That's Romello Height, the Auburn transfer. And so you guys are getting the theme of this thing early. Transfer. Height, one of the ones that they're hoping steps up here for the defensive side of the ball.
When you talk toughness, this is the area right here from a defensive standpoint. Can you stand up in the red zone, keep this offense out that clearly wants to run the football? Now you can't give up that 3-yard pass, which his defense has done all the way down the field. Now we're going to see some tighter man-to-man coverage, some pressure up the middle. So we'll see if they can get this stop. It's 2nd and 5.
And if the offense wants to cheat, just run a quarterback draw because you can't hit Caleb. Throw to the end zone, touchdown, caught. That is Mario Williams, his partner from Oklahoma. So Caleb to Mario, we called that Norman quite a bit last year. And already USC paying dividends. Robert, early score for the offense.
Oh, it was beautiful. You couldn't see it on the screen, but we were watching back here, and Caleb Williams gave him a hand signal. That means they had an RPO concept on. Mario Williams did a great job sticking at the top of the route and getting separation in the back of the end zone. That's how you do it, people, just like that.
And Joey, as you know, comfort food with the quarterback. He had that. Let's go down to the field now. Molly with Caleb right now.
Thanks, Matt. Caleb to Mario Williams is something that we've said a lot before. How does your connection help you guys with this transition to this new school?
It's been awesome because I'm able to use him as a demonstration when we're on the field or when we're talking about in film. I'm able to use him as a demonstration, especially our connection. We kind of know exactly where we want each other. It's scramble drill, I'm in the pocket, anything like that. So it's awesome.
All right, thank you, Caleb.
Thank you.
So Caleb Williams off to a fast start. 5 of 5 on that drive, 5 of them to different receivers. The one he ended it with, the one he's most familiar with. It is Mario Williams and Caleb Williams. They've brought their axe to LA. We've seen it hit early. Back after this. And that's a good start to Caleb Williams' USC era. 5 of 5, 37 yards, and a touchdown to his former Oklahoma teammate Mario Williams. Now that was smooth the first drive. It hadn't been really smooth for Caleb since he showed up. This was him in the first spring practice. He's out there, hey guys, I'm here. Caleb Williams, fight on. Doesn't use the crosswalk. And then after he doesn't use the crosswalk, he realizes he's going to the wrong place.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have all these transfers coming in. They don't know what they don't know. They don't even know where the practice field is. But when they get on it, they do fireworks just like they did on that first drive.
Yeah, it looks like he was pretty comfortable playing here at the Coliseum. That Barry Joey Galloway, Robert Griffin III, Molly McGrath with you. You know, we know it's spring football, it's a practice, but guys, I mean, you're down there, we were down there earlier. This is a good crowd. It's loud. The band is having fun. You can tell there's a little bit of infused energy in a team that went 4-8 last year, Joe.
Yeah, how can you not be excited? You got this kind of star power now, and people are talking about USC. Lincoln Riley comes to town from Oklahoma, and we talk about transfers of players. There wasn't a bigger coaching get than what USC pulled off, getting Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. And so if you tuned in today, you want to see offense. I don't know that you can see a better start to an offense in a spring game than what Caleb Williams just did with the offense driving out getting 7 points.
There's good and bad with Caleb. The bad is there's only 2 scholarship quarterbacks right now for you. We're going to see a reverse. Come on, spring ball. Kyron Ware Hudson. We asked if they dial something up. Galloway, you got to love this, the reverse to the receivers. Latrell McCutcheon knocks him out of bounds.
Yeah, I asked him if they had something dialed up for the spring game. This is the time when you have a little bit of fun, and that is an early start. Hey, look, Miller Moss is coming in, and he's running an offense that just went down and scored points and made it look easy. I love the play call. Let's get this offense started all of a sudden near the 50-yard line. Makes it a lot easier for Miller Moss.
Quick throw to the outside. That's Darwin Barlow. He's the transfer from TCU in another chunk game. As we mentioned, Miller Moss, one of 2 quarterbacks on the roster. Jackson Dart transferred to Ole Miss. Keaton Slovis, he's now at Pitt. So guys, Miller Moss, Lincoln Riley knows for now, he's one of 2 quarterbacks he's got on the roster.
Yeah, and Lincoln Riley told us they believe this is a guy, Miller Moss, M&M if you want to call him, that could start at other universities around the country, so they're happy to have him.
So if you're looking at the score, 21-7, the defense, we gave them 21 points right out of the gate. Well, we didn't, the school did. That was the spring ball rules for today. Jude Wolf on the reception. But guys, obviously we believe that Lincoln's still going to be very active in the portal after this game. He said he's probably going to add upwards at around 15 players. The deadline for players to be able to transfer and play next season is May 1st. Quarterback's got to be one of those. You can't go into a season with 2 scholarship quarterbacks.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, you. Yeah, you
quarterback
definitely.
is one of those positions where we are seeing a lot of guys go somewhere else. And so every year at the end of the season, you got to get back in your playbook to find out where these guys went to. And so you come into a season, you have 2 guys on your roster, and we know how difficult it is to stay healthy at quarterback. We watched Oklahoma last season play 2 quarterbacks. Luckily, they had a Caleb Williams, sitting on the sideline ready to go in and play. And so if you're at USC and you're known for what Lincoln Riley has done with quarterbacks at Oklahoma, hey, Robert, if I'm a quarterback sitting out there right now thinking about where I want to go, I would be thinking about USC.
Oh, yeah, it all depends on how long Caleb Williams is going to be here. But when you talk about these quarterbacks, Lincoln Riley told us one day that there were no other quarterbacks except for Caleb Williams. He had to take every single snap, and he thought they were going to have to get him some oxygen halfway through the practice.
I mean, life moves fast, especially play fake, incomplete. That was intended for Austin Jones, the Stanford transfer. Guys, life moves quick for a college football quarterback. It wasn't too long ago where Keaton Slovis was mentioned as a first-round draft pick, a guy that under Clay Helton they thought was going to be the next great USC quarterback. He had some injury issues. They bring in a highly touted Jackson Dart, who has since transferred. The quarterback market in college football is unlike anything we've ever seen.
Oh, let's call it what it is. It's free agency, right? And Lincoln said when he came in here, he knew he was going to have to turn over about 38 roster spots. That's a lot of players that he had to come in and tell them, hey, your dreams at USC are now over, and he's going to continue to do that into the spring.
Throw over the middle. Great job by the defense to knock it down. That was intended for Brendan Rice. And you guys had mentioned a second ago, if you're a quarterback, if you're an offensive player, perhaps now USC could be a destination because what Lincoln Riley has done statistically while at Oklahoma. Take a look at this. The last 5 seasons with Lincoln Riley as head coach, they are first in points per game, yards per play, yards per rush, yards per attempt. First, which would make this your first choice, you would think, to come play offense.
Yeah, and interesting, when you talk about recruiting, you talk about quarterbacks, and we talked about this last season, the amount of talented quarterbacks that come out of California and go play at other schools, it'll be interesting moving forward to see Lincoln Riley now start to keep some of that quarterback talent in the state of California coming to USC. These past couple seasons, when you look at what that Oklahoma offense has been, I don't know that you talk about another offense. Maybe an Ohio State offense was outstanding a few years ago, LSU. A couple years ago, Alabama, but Oklahoma and consistency and what they've been on offense, no one's done it better.
All right, we got a 55-yard field goal attempt here by Alex Stadhouse. There's no rush in a spring game. Let Stadhouse get his reps. And when you play in weather like this, no wind, just sun, Stadhouse, 55 yards, it is good. He got the field goal attempt because Nick Figueroa was able to sack Miller Moss. The weather's so good, we got clearance for a drone. Have that look. We'll talk more offense when we come back. It's the USC offense. Now scores twice. NBA playoffs continue tonight on ESPN and the ESPN app. The Nets and Celtics play Game 3 of their series, 7:30 Eastern. Boston up 2-0. And John Morant and the Grizzlies in Minnesota to take on Karl Anthony Towns. That's been a fun series to watch as well. Coverage begins. Countdown 7 p.m. Eastern. NBA playoffs, always entertaining. Let's check up with Molly McGrath now with one of the leaders of that USC defense. Molly?
Thule, at spring games, everyone's talking about the offenses, but your defense is getting after them a little bit, holding them to a field goal. What kind of statement do you guys want to make in this game?
We just want to show people what we've been doing for these past 5 weeks and just go out there and compete and do our thing. And we're about to go on right now and just put in the work and show everybody what we got.
You guys going to keep blitzing and being aggressive?
You'll have to ask our DC about that one. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you, Tuli.
Have a good one.
Tuli Pelotu, the leader of that defense. And Joey, you brought up a good point. That last drive, we saw a little bit more blitzing from Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator.
They were moving the ball way too easy. And you're a defensive coordinator, and you know your defense is a team that needs to change their attitude, change what they've been doing in the past. You're not going to sit back and let Lincoln Riley carve you up and have a nice, easy day out here. You're also trying to build that confidence on the defensive side of the ball. And so as we've seen him get near the 50, all of a sudden you start to see a couple blitzes. Let's get in the quarterback's face. Let's try to make him nervous. Let's try to get the ball back and they head him to a field goal.
So we see Caleb Williams back on offense. They start with the ball at the 20. Austin Jones in the backfield. Fake to Jones. Caleb steps up, clears the pocket. He's got tons of running room. And another good example of his ability to get out of the pocket and avoid the rush at a gain of 9.
Yeah, guys, you're seeing Caleb Williams go through every single eligible receiver he can before he's breaking the pocket. And I know talking to the coaches with Lincoln Riley, that is something that they have talked with him about continuously. Being able to win from the pocket and only using your legs when you absolutely have to.
So it brings up a 2nd and 1. We've seen a consistent receiver lineup of Terrell Bynum, Brendan Rice, and Mario Williams here with that first team. Still Austin Jones, another fake, rush comes on, throw perfect. Absolutely touch perfect to Terrell Bynum, the Washington transfer, gain of 28.
I love the inside fade route. You got all that room to work. All you need is your quarterback to drop it to the outside and let me go get it. Great throw, great route, and you see there's plenty of room on the sideline to catch this ball, make it a positive game. Now, again, we're getting past the half field. We'll see, do the blitzes start coming from Alex Grinch?
Also a good job there by Austin Jones, picking up the pressure. Again, a play fake. Caleb, quick throw, sets his feet, finds number 4, Mario Williams, who caught the touchdown earlier. Now this thing's humming a little bit. Another big gain for the offense. Terrell McCutcheon takes him out of bounds. It'll be another first down.
I mean, Caleb Williams is just out here playing pitch and catch, fellas. He looks in rhythm. He looks calm, collected. And Mario Williams is helping him, right? Former #1 wide receiver in the country as a recruit in the 2021 class at Oklahoma. He's out here getting separation with ease.
And as I was saying before we did the Caleb interview after the touchdown, Joey, when you're a quarterback trying to get into a new system, you've got your guy that you brought with you from Oklahoma, so the chemistry's already there.
And you can see the hand signals going on. You can see he's looking outside. That's an experienced quarterback. Let me run this offense. Give me a play, but I'm going to make sure I get us in the best play. I'm going to take advantage of the man-to-man coverage. Oh, they threw a flag. Love to see the officials paying attention.
Of course.
No. He had his hands on the receiver.
So Kalen Bullock. All right, that's Zamarian Gordon. It's going to be called for holding, so the interception is nullified, much to Joey's delight.
You know sometimes what they say, if you can't guard him, just hold him. And right there, he just took away an interception from Kalen Bullock, who did an amazing job tracking that ball down the field.
Taj Washington, who was a previous transfer from Memphis, was the receiver held. So here we have ball spotted just outside the 23-yard line. The give to Austin Jones, and you see the hard running ability from Austin Jones. And gentlemen, when you talk about USC back in the Pete Carroll heyday, what was it? It was Lendale White, it was Reggie Bush first, set the tone on the ground, let the receivers and skill position players take care of it after that.
All I know is Corey Foreman just put his hands on Caleb Williams. And I was watching Robert down here. Robert almost called a timeout, almost ran in there. What is he doing putting his hands on Caleb Williams?
Hey, man, you got to have a bubble around the quarterback. Can't touch him.
Another run from Austin Jones. And Corey Foreman, if you follow college football and recruiting, he was the #1 ranked player in the country a year ago. Hoping that the coaching change helps elevate his career by all intents and purposes. Even from Corey's perspective, a disappointing year. But to Joey's point, not a good way to get on the coaching staff's radar by touching your star quarterback.
Yeah, and I think it's key to mention that Mekhi Blackman, transfer from Colorado, probably their best corner, is not playing in this game, twisted his ankle. I spoke to him before the game. He's healthy. He'll be ready to go. Disappointed he's not out here. But defensively, that's why you need a Corey Foreman. You cannot let Caleb Williams stand in the pocket because on the back end, you're missing your best corner.
That's a quick hit to the left side. First down ball just spotted outside the 10. That was Brendan Rice. All right, we're going to show you the play again. Where Corey Foreman committed the spring ball no-no.
Oh, yeah. You can't put your hands on the quarterback. And he gave him a little, like a real good forearm shiver there in the back.
Galloway.
Come on now.
Joey, that's $1. He ran into him. He didn't hit him.
That is enough to get. Hey, look, if you're a star player, you might get away with that. If you're a guy that's on the fence, you can't do that. I'm telling you, Robert almost called a timeout. Even Robert wasn't going to stand for that. Big play. Big play there. Big play.
That's Tui Pelotu. Molly just talked to him. He's the guy, gentlemen. If Grinch is going to get this thing going defensively, Tui Pelotu's the guy that he's going to have to rely on.
Oh, without a doubt. And Molly asked a great question of defensive coordinator Alex Grinch in our meetings. And she said, if there was one guy on the defense that you could have 11 of them, and that would make your defense the best in the country, who would it be? And Tuli was the guy that he mentioned. This guy's the heart and soul of this defense, and his effort was evident right there.
So now 3rd down, good opportunity for Grinch's defense to stop Caleb in the #1 offense. Ball at the 8, Caleb to throw, takes a shot at the end zone. It is Mario Williams again. Touchdown offense. Caleb to Mario for 2.
That's all about relationship. That's the kind of thing you talk about on the sideline. When we get back on the field, Robert, When you see this man-to-man coverage, you lay the ball up in the back of the end zone, and I promise you, I'm going to be there and I'm going to get it. That's what I asked about. How's the communication been between the quarterback and his receivers? That's what you see right there, and that's why those plays work.
Oh, you've seen those two guys hook up twice now, and I can be honest with you, it wasn't the greatest throw from Caleb Williams. Mario Williams did an amazing job going out there. Yeah, you see it here, did a great job. This catch, so the DB didn't know that the ball was coming. Sometimes, Joey, as a quarterback, your receiver's got to help a brother out. HBO, and he did it right there.
We always do.
Back here at USC Spring Game, since the golden era of Pete Carroll here at USC, been a revolving door of coaches. Lane Kiffin and Orgeron Steve Sarkisian among them play help, and then Dante Williams as the interim coach. They are hoping the hiring of Lincoln Riley puts to bed an era. As you look, there's been numerous coaches. Lane Kiffin already back in the game. He's at Ole Miss, and Orgeron just retired from LSU. But they are certainly hoping that Lincoln Riley provides the stability that they've been looking for here at USC. And they'll tell you, look, USC, you can say what you want about the Pac-12 conference. It hasn't been involved in the college football playoff. There's been some struggles. This conference, the conversation starts and stops with USC. If USC is good, and if USC is relevant, the Pac-12 is relevant. Let's go down to the field and Joey Galloway. Joe.
Well, Coach, Caleb Williams off to a 9-for-9 start. How pleased are you?
Yeah, they're doing well. You know, have executed pretty good in the throwing game. The guys have protected well, and we made a couple competitive plays down there in the end zone.
Corey Foreman accidentally bumped into Caleb Williams, and I thought RG3 was going to run out there and call a timeout, Coach. What would happen if Robert ran in and called a timeout because Caleb got touched?
When you win a Heisman Trophy, you can do whatever you want.
Keep it going, Coach.
Joey, great stuff. If RG, you know what? He's going to call a timeout at some point. We actually, Robert told Lincoln yesterday in the meeting, Coach, I've got 15 plays in me, so you might have a package waiting for you.
Oh yeah, I got a year of eligibility left if he needs it.
We're back to the second team here. Miller Moss does a nice job scanning the field over the middle. Jude Wolf, the tight end, and a gain of 6.
You know, Matt, we're seeing this USC offense utilize these tight ends more than they have in the past. A guy like Jude Wolf, who is a high recruit coming out, he's had, I think, 2 or 3 catches already. They're featuring them a little bit on the inside, taking advantage of those holes.
That's a nice run up the middle. That's Darwin Barlow, the running back. He was a TCU transfer. That'll be a first down and a gain of 8. You know, USC, a lineage of star players, no different as we prepare for the NFL draft. Let's go down to Molly.
Yeah, I'm with Trojan former wide receiver and one of the guys projected to go in the first round of next week's NFL draft on ESPN, Drake London. Drake, first of all, I know you had your pro day last week. How's that ankle feeling?
It's feeling great right now. You know, just getting back into it, running routes and doing all that. I feel pretty good, so it's going well.
One of the big questions for USC this year is how they're going to replace the production at wide receiver now that you're gone. What is an NFL team getting in you?
A playmaker, just somebody who has the ball in their hands. It can happen at any moment, so just a playmaker.
And now that you're not with the Trojans, it's time for someone else to step up. A lot of new faces on this Trojan team. You probably don't even recognize this team now this year to last year. What do you think of this wide receiver corps?
It's special. I mean, it's SC at the end of the day. And then you got a special guy, like 13 in the backfield running it. So I'm pretty sure everybody going to get their fair share.
You're just 1 year shy of getting to play with Caleb Williams. What are your thoughts on him and the talent that he brings to this program?
It's funny. We was just talking about that. I'm sorry. I thought he was going to run into us. We was just talking about that. You know, I definitely thought about it twice, but it's football at the end of the day. You know, if you get hurt like this, I think you want to, you want some compensation for it. So
Caleb Williams coming here made you second guess whether or not you were going to go into the NFL draft?
I would say a little bit. It was definitely, I was batting my eyes thinking about it. So a little bit, yeah.
We know there's been a huge culture change here at USC. What's a successful season for the Trojans?
A successful season? You want my prediction?
What's successful going to be?
Bowl games. A lot of bowl games, Rose Bowl and above. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I expect from them.
All right, thank you, Drake.
Yes, thank you.
Matt.
Molly, great stuff. Look, you get drafted by the New York Jets. That'll make you change your decision real quick. He won't be able to control that. But look, when he was healthy, Joey, London was a problem for defenses. So 3 seconds left on the clock. Again, they're playing 2 15-minute halves. This is spring. This is a practice. We try to maintain some semblance of organization. I think someone banged the timeout. Really, Lincoln can do whatever he wants at this point. Field reporters, help us out. What do we got going on down there?
I'm not 100% sure what we have going on. What I do know is they're going for this, and this is a great chance for the defense. This should be 4th down.
Yeah, it should be 4th down. I think they're a little messed up here.
Yeah.
3 seconds, please. The clock will start on my signal.
All right, so they called that a complete pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I'm being told up here.
Very skeptical. But Lincoln can run and tell them it was a completed pass if he wants to.
What in the world?
When you got the HC on your hat, you can
Let
make up your own rules, right?
Yeah, go to the ref, Joey.
Let me just find out.
Yeah, go ask him. This could be great.
Was that a complete pass, sir? We have no replay, and the ref said that was a complete pass.
Joey, that guy wanted nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
The referee was like, get your microphone out of my face.
Hey,
He
look,
wanted nothing to do with it.
Very questionable call.
Go say that near him.
I think he knows that.
All right. They're just going to run it up the middle, and we're going to get this thing to halftime. Okay, so remember the rule refresh. The defense started with 21 points, the offense with nothing. So we've seen 2 Caleb Williams touchdowns. He's perfect on the day, 9 of 9, 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. So 21-17. We've got a whole second half of this fun coming up. We've got interviews, we've got Joey, we've got Molly, we've got Robert Griffin III. And we have a new era of USC football. Didn't disappoint early. Caleb, Tamario Williams, we saw little Travis Dye. We're gonna step away for the half. We'll be back coming up in the second half from Los Angeles. The USC Spring Game, as expected, we saw some good Caleb Williams. Before we get back to the action, our Pete Thamel sat down with Lincoln Riley and Caleb.
It's a beautiful day in California.
Well, Lincoln, sitting out here with the San Gabriels in the background and palm trees over the practice field, I think the natural first question is to ask you about your Californication as a new resident here.
It's been great. It really has. I mean, you can see why, California has the reputation it does. You can see why so many people want to live here. It's, you have access to so many things, both for myself, most importantly, my family, my girls, all the things you're able to do, the beautiful weather year round. It's like you wake up on vacation every day.
I'm like nobody here. It's awesome. Like the other day, I sat behind Pete Davis and Kim Kardashian, John and Vinny's one day. So people don't come up to me as much. People don't, come and ask for pictures or come and talk to me or my family or friends. Well, I can go with my friends and we'll go sit down and, like I said, there'll be Kim Kardashian right in front of me. They'll be worried about her than me, more than me. So it's awesome.
This place is going to be full. This is going to be the mecca of college football.
Saturday marks the first opportunity for you to start filling the Coliseum and giving the people a taste of what it's like. Just speak to what the Coliseum has meant as a character in this USC revival.
You start to think about when you walk into a stadium like that, all the people that have played in that stadium, all the people that have been in that stadium, all the different huge events that it's hosted. It has a different feel. And then personally for me, one of my, I think, most impactful memories of college football was watching the home games back in Coach Carroll's day when this place was rolling, was the top football program in the country. And there was just something about watching a Saturday night game in the Coliseum that was different than anywhere else.
Have you envisioned it full and throbbing and rollicking?
100%. Every time I'm in there. Every time. I mean, we do what we should do, then it'll be as good as it can get.
What do you think that's going to feel like with 90,000 plus in there?
Oh, it's going to be booming. It's going to be booming. LA, you get all the people out when SC's booming. Hopefully a Jay-Z or a Snoop Dogg or anything like that on the sidelines. I can't wait for that. Or Drake. Jay-Z and Drake are probably my two people that I want to see on the sideline.
How would you define success in year one, Lincoln?
Become the team that we're capable of being. Our roster has changed dramatically, and it's getting ready to change even dramatically again before we hit the fall camp. And so with that, there's obviously a lot of work to do. But I will say, our goal, we came here to win championships. I mean, I've said it before, this is USC. Like, you don't come here competitively for any other reason. And that won't change regardless of what year we're here, what the situation is. Our goal is always going to be to win championships.
Can you win a national championship at USC, Caleb?
We're on the way to. We can't win today. We would not be able to win a national championship today, but the good part is the national championship is not today. It's in January 9th.
Hey, next door in Las Vegas, NFL Draft less than a week away. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we'll have every pick on ESPN, along with our usual expert analysis. It's also available on the NFL Network, and ABC's coverage focuses on the prospects' journey to the draft all 3 days. Also, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app. And look at this, College Game Day also live from the draft. Reese and the gang is going to break down all the players and be joined by live special guests. College Game Day starts Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, prior to the first round, followed by shows on Friday and Saturday. And as is the case here in Los Angeles, a wall of fame. Plenty of players have had their names called in the NFL Draft. More fun from the USC Spring Game coming up after this. Just Chamber of Commerce weather today here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. A new era of college football underway. Here for the Trojans, Lincoln Riley, their new head coach. Welcome in, I'm Matt Berry. Second half of the USC Spring Game just about to get started. Coming into the broadcast, the main thing we wanted to focus on, the transfers and the arrival of Lincoln Riley. Robert Griffin III and Joey Galloway.
Hey, Matt, I don't know if you noticed what's going on down here, but they're about to start playing football.
Everybody get
Look, but Joey, here's the thing with the Spring Game. We can get a little loose with the rules. So while we're doing that, Robert, what did you see out of Caleb in the first
Robert
half?
is scared to death down here, by the way.
I'll tell you what I saw out of Caleb. Caleb looked like he was in rhythm. If there could be a picture-perfect start for him to a spring game or a regular game, this was it. Efficient, got the ball out of his hands, only used his legs when he had to. You can see the work that he's putting in, paying dividends today.
And Joey, the chemistry with Mario Williams, what did you see from a receiver's perspective?
You can see that connection. You know, when you have as many transfers as they've had, that's one of the things you want to keep your eye on, is that connection to those receivers. And obviously Mario Williams, who came over from Oklahoma, getting the touchdowns, you can see already how comfortable these guys feel with one another.
Caleb's stats really, really good in the first half. 9 of 9, 89 yards to 2 touchdowns to his familiar receiver, Mario Williams, just one of 2 transfers. We've got another transfer, Molly, in the backfield that they're really excited about.
Yeah, I'm here with running back Travis Dye. Travis, your first time playing in the Coliseum in this uniform with this group of guys. What'd you think of the first half?
Just electric, you know. Couldn't ask for a better first time in the Coliseum wearing these colors, you know. I love being out here. The atmosphere, everything about it is it's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Travis. Matt.
I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear inside the Coliseum. It sounds like Steve Aoki's here DJing at a club in downtown Hollywood where we had to get Galloway out of last night to even make it to the game today. That's a Miller Moss. Start at quarterback here in the second half. They're going to pick up right where they left off here in the field, just shy of the 50. Moss going to take a shot. How about Miller Moss to Kyle Ford? They're going to give him the touchdown, 48 yards. And Joey, like they told us, Miller Moss could probably start at any other program in the country.
You know what? And I was just thinking, when are they going to take a shot down the field? Not a double move, not a fade. When am I going to see a guy drop back and just tell my receiver, go make a play? And Miller Moss laid it out there perfectly.
Oh my gosh, Miller Moss, Eminem dropping dimes out here, throwing the ball to Kyle Ford, who Coach Dennis Simmons told us is a lot faster than he ever thought he was, and he looked fast right there and strong, carrying guys into the end zone for the touchdown.
So Sierra Wright was the corner that got beat there. But that, look, to start off again, we told you 2 quarterbacks on scholarship on the roster, Miller Moss the other one, and he just showed what he is capable of. A big throw to Kyle Ford for the touchdown. Have another look at this. Joey, what did you see?
I saw a quarterback take a drop, feeling comfortable in the pocket. And we haven't talked about this offensive line, but give them credit. They've given these quarterbacks time to throw the ball. You give a quarterback time to throw the ball, man-to-man coverage on the outside, and you will see a quarterback, look, lay it out there, and receivers always say, if I got man-to-man, I'll go make a play for you, and that's what we just watched.
All right, let's go to Molly, who's with the quarterback.
Miller Moss coming out of the gates hot. What was your thought process on that play?
Yeah, I mean, I love Kyle, saw him one-on-one. We had a play dialed up, but if we get one-on-one to the single receiver side, we can kind of go at him. Got the look we wanted, and it worked out. Kyle made a hell of a play.
It was a heck of a play. All right, thank you, Miller.
All right, thank you.
I mean, Molly, she went polite on the fly. Instead of going, hell of a play, it was a heck of a play. And by the way, both of those players, two of the holdovers on this roster, Miller Moss into the prior regime, as was Kyle Ford from Corona, California. So two Trojans that have been here before making a big play to start the second half of the USC Spring Game. They play baseball pretty well in this area too with the Dodgers, the Padres. They are not the subject of Sunday night baseball, but the Brewers and Phillies are finishing up their 3-game series at Citizens Bank Park. Sunday night baseball matchup, Carl Ravitch, Eduardo Perez, and David Cohn on the call. ESPN Deportes coverage begins 5:30 Eastern on ESPN. And guys, Robert and Joey, we focus so much on Caleb, but as Caleb knows, being a backup last year in Oklahoma for the first half of the season, the backup needs to be ready to play at any given opportunity.
Oh, yeah, at any given opportunity, at the drop of a dime, one play away, that's what you are. Miller Moss understands that, and he's showing today why they should be comfortable with him playing.
Caleb forced out of the pocket. He's going to take a shot downfield, just throws it away to stay safe. First incompletion we've seen out of Caleb this afternoon. Tafu'o, forced the pressure along with Figueroa.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, and I'm an offensive guy, and I know Robert is a quarterback, but eventually you have to give this defense a little bit of credit. They're allowing the quarterback to run around, of course. You can't hit this guy. You can't put your hands on him, but you got to give the defense credit. And that kind of play, Robert, I would call that a sack for the defense.
Oh, without a doubt, that's a sack for the defense.
And here comes another one right there.
There's another one.
Yeah, they blew it dead.
Yeah, he got sacked on that one. And what you're saying, Joey, is whenever a quarterback has to hold on to the ball in the pocket and throw it away, that's a smart play by Caleb Williams. But at the same time, the defense, that's a coverage sack, and you're causing him to have to make that type of play, and then they come back and follow it up with another sack. They're tired of us talking about Caleb Williams today right now. They want to start talking about them.
Yeah, and I'm standing on the defensive side right now, and these guys are saying, hey, you got to give us a sack. I mean, we can't put our hands on them. You can see the energy on this side of the field is you got to let us have our big plays. They gave him a completion at the end of the first half, which was incomplete. And so defensively, you start to say, look, we know this is slanted offensively, but give us our credit for what we're doing also.
That was Romello Height, the Auburn transfer that was able to get to Caleb Williams. And there, Caleb, another incomplete pass. So there you have it, Joey.
There it is.
Defensive momentum. We do want to point out the defense did start with 21 points. The offense has been able to score 24. Defensive point structure is a little bit different, but what a great job by the defense to start here in the second half.
Yeah, I don't know if they made adjustments. They didn't go in the locker room, but clearly the defense finally got the stop they're looking for. It was 21-0. Now the defense gets a stop. I think that ties the game. I mean, I don't know exactly how the scoring works, but I think that now ties the game 24-24.
It in fact does not. We'll have to go to the
We'll
have to go to the scoring officials here. Will Rose, the punter. All right, so while we're in break, Joey, we'll see if we can't get the defense 3 points while we're away, just to tie this thing up. Actually, we can do it.
Tired of them scoring those bombs over the top. Defense stepped up big.
We've talked about this defense and how much better they needed to be this season. Give them credit. Start of the second quarter, Alex Grinch calls up the defense. They get a stop, they get a sack, and now you can feel the energy on the defensive side that now we have a tie ball game that was worth 3 points, Robert.
It was.
They get a stop, it's worth 3 points, and now we got a 24-24 tie.
I'll welcome back the viewers since Joey just started talking. Welcome back to the USC Spring Football Game. Great job, Joe.
Matt, that's what I'm here for, buddy. I got to help you out with the score down here.
So we do have, you can tell the energy's changed over the defensive side of the ball, but again, they started with 21 points.
Just a little different down here now.
The rule structure of a spring game is what the coaches believe will make it competitive. We were told 3 points for a 4th down stop. But they weren't going to go for it there on 4th and 19. So I'm with Joey and RG3. I think they needed to get points for that stop. They saw Miller Moss, the second-team offense, score on their last possession. And they'll get an opportunity here again. 24 all. Austin Jones, the Stanford transfer, in the backfield.
Got your stop.
Moss able to avoid the rush, throws it incomplete. You know, and guys, we had talked about it. 60 available scholarship players, but they wanted to do this the right way. They've scrimmaged throughout spring ball, and Robert, Lincoln said this spring ball, these guys bought in, and they were working hard, and they scrimmaged in full pads just about every day.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, talking to defensive coordinator Alex Grinch, he said, you know, nobody comes to USC to be 4-8. So these guys have been eager and hungry to find out what it is, that secret sauce that Lincoln Riley has, and he's been pushing them all spring, and he said he was actually surprised how hard they were able to push them.
That's Austin Jones running hard up the middle. Looks like he's going to pick up a gain of 6. And this is where you learn. When you've got coaching turnover, I mean, he said they had to have a difficult conversation when they came in November at the end of the season of who was going to be staying, who was going to be going. They had to turn the roster over. I mentioned it earlier, 38 spots have been flipped. You've got to find, this is a unique roster in that you've got holdovers, transfers, and high school players on it.
Yeah, Matt, Lincoln Riley said this will be the most unique roster in school history. And I can honestly say I don't think he would be here if it wasn't for the transfer portal, because that's the only way he'd be able to turn over this roster fast enough to feel confident coming here.
So now 3rd and down, Miller Moss up top. What a catch. Kyron Ware Hudson, Joey with a great grab to move the chains.
And once again, we're seeing the man-to-man coverage on the outside and the confidence in his quarterbacks, Miller Moss this time, the confidence to throw it up to his receivers and go make a play. As a receiver, this is all you can ask for. You always have these conversations with your quarterback, with your offensive coordinator, with your head coach. Coach, hey, if we see man-to-man coverage, throw it out there and let me go make a play.
So Miller Moss getting the help from his receiver on that one. He's had a nice afternoon, 7 of 12, 107 yards and a touchdown. Ball crosses midfield, play fake again to Jones, does a nice job picking up the pressure. Moss forced out of the pockets. Woo! And another catch. Did they rule it incomplete? That intended to Kyron Ware Hudson. Let's go down to Molly.
I'm here with linebacker Shane Lee. And Shane, on the last drive, you guys forced them to punt. Do you feel like you should have gotten some points for that?
Absolutely. We definitely supposed to get points for that. I think it's 3 points. If we get like a pick 6 or something, it's supposed to be 7. But, you know, Coach Riley's an offensive guy, so they might be a little slanted towards them a little bit. So it's good, though.
Yeah, I know they did give you guys 3 points, but it seems like this defense is coming out with a little extra fire in this second half. How competitive is the second half going to be?
We're excited. You know, we're out here, fans are out here. It's, you know, the end of the spring. We're just excited to play hard and play fast and be together. So watch your back.
Are there going to be any up downs at the end of this game with whoever comes out on top?
I'm not sure. We got to wait and see.
All right, thank you, Shane. As we know, at USC's practice the other day, the offense was forced to do the up downs because the defense got the better of them. It's been really competitive at these practices, guys.
That was John Jackson and a gain of 13. So any momentum the defense may have had, they're substituted in and out. Miller Moss is taken right away for him, marching the second team offense right back down the field. It's Moss to Jones. Austin Jones. And a first down. Gain of 14. And Joey, in the outset of the broadcast, you had talked about, you know, we know the offensive transfers, but defensively, they need to bring in some players. They've done that. Shane Lee, one of them, and a number of guys, Romello Height, have come in to try to solidify this Grinch defense.
And another guy they're extremely excited about is Micaiah Blackman. I mentioned him earlier. Probably the best cornerback on this team has a bad ankle, couldn't go today. And so he'll be a key player for this team. As we talk about their ability to get pressure on the quarterback, it'll let guys like Mekhi Blackman make the plays on the outside and see a more complete defense. We'll see what they do when it comes time to get back into that transfer portal to really build out this defense. But these guys are flying around. We talk about the effort level, and you just see a big hit.
Adonis Ote there on the hit of Austin Jones coming out of the backfield. And back in, I keep bringing up the Pete Carroll heyday because that was the standard with which this program was set. Robert, he was a defensive guy at heart, and so he built this thing on defense, but had the stars on offense to carry it the rest of the way.
Yes, he did, and I think that's a big concern for a lot of Trojan fans. They're wondering, what is this defense going to look like? You're seeing the offense go up and down the field on them. They're going to need probably some more transfers, or the guys that are on the roster right now to truly be out there making havoc plays could get the ball back to the offense. We'll see if they can get it done.
So the defensive numbers from last season for USC, people being concerned about what Alex Grinch can bring over. 103rd in the country in points per game, 31.8 yards per game, 88th in the country. And that just doesn't get it done if you're a program like USC trying to get back up to that national level. And Joey, I made the comment about the Georgia defense earlier, and the point that Alex Grinch was making is that they've got first-round talent, but you don't win on first-round talent alone. You have to have the first-round talent give you top-flight effort.
Yeah, and I think Alex Grinch was speaking from experience and what he went through at Oklahoma last season. Coming into last season, Oklahoma's defense, because of the talent they had, everyone assumed that they'd be a much better football team. They were a top 4 team because people believed their defense was better because of the names they had on the roster. They went into a season, defense wasn't better because the effort level was not there to match the talent level. So now you come to USC, his first thing is he wants to get better is the effort level as he adds the talent. If you can get the two to match, then you got what Georgia had last season.
We talked to them coming over from the Big 12. As you look at the Pac-12 headlines, it's a new league for Lincoln and his coaching staff as they come over. There's been some coaching turnover in the conferences. There tends to be 3 new head coaches. Kayla DeBoer goes over to Washington. Dan Lanning comes in from the SEC. Now the new head coach at Oregon, replacing Mario Cristobal, who went over to Miami. But they haven't been in the college football playoff since 2016. And guys, like it or not, the success of a league is dependent on whether or not they send a team to the college football playoff.
Matt Roberts down here dancing.
I'm out here dancing.
He's not paying attention to a word you're saying right now.
They got the music cranking. But to piggyback off of what Joey was saying with Alex Grinch, I love the fact that he has a self-awareness to understand where he came up short as a coach at Oklahoma and how they came here and are looking to build that culture from the ground up. You can have a great defense without having all the first-round picks littered on the front line and at the linebacker and secondary positions. And I think they brought in some transfers who are hungry to prove themselves. Some came from the SEC, some have come from other schools in the Pac-12, and they want to come here and restore USC's greatness, not just on offense like we've seen today, but also on defense.
Guys, health of the league too. You know, Joey, you and I talked about this when we were in studio all season with Jesse, especially early on in the season. In those non-conference matchups, can the Pac-12 go get a win against a Georgia early on in the season? The health of the league depends on how you do out of the league.
Absolutely right. And we get to the end of every season, and we start to look at the conferences compared to other conferences. Who in your league could get a win against one of the better schools in another conference. So the Pac-12 is a school that is extremely important to knock off some of those early season wins, because when we start talking strength of schedule, that's when it'll matter at the end of your season. You need teams in your conference to be good, but you also need to get those wins in the preseason to get that momentum.
Yeah, Joey, to your point, the fact of the matter is the Pac-12 needs USC to be great. They need him to be great. So every team in the Pac-12 should be happy that Lincoln Riley is here as they try to beat their tail every time they step on the field.
All right, so back to action here. Can Miller Moss lead the offense to another scoring drive? Ball spotted at the 14-yard line to give up the middle to Darwin Barlow. He's brought down by Corey Foreman, who had the moment of the first half when he sneezed on Caleb Williams. Robert, had a bit of a mess there, but Darwin Barlow, the run up the middle. Again, we want to remind our viewers, they're playing 2 full quarters. So you see second on your screen. It's actually the second half. We've already played a first half of football here in Los Angeles. So can the defense get another stop? Barlow, good cutback. He's going to move the chains at a first down. The defense has been able to get a little bit of momentum. They started with 21 points. They got 3 points for the last stop, and the offense trying to sneak that right back.
I think we're watching this offense decide to be more physical in the middle. When we watch this defense grow, we watch Alex Grinch go into the transfer portal and try to get more guys on this team, size on the defensive line is going to be important. As you look at the defensive line, you don't see a lot of bigger guys in there with the ability to clog up the middle. And so you're watching this offense decide we're going to be more physical, 2 backs in the backfield, and let's see if we can run it downhill.
So first and goal for the offense, trying to get back on the scoreboard. Miller Moss led him on a drive earlier. Moss to Jones. And a good job for the defense to corral Jones in the backfield. First player there, Tuyasive Numura. What do you call it? Like, you guys bring it up. What are you trying to learn here about your team here at the goal line?
Well, if you're talking about the defense, it's just, biting down on your mouthpiece and understanding that you got to stop the running game. And right now, these corners are out on an island with these wide receivers because they're luring the safeties in with the play action to the back. So maybe we see them try to hit one of these outside windows with the decoy here from Darwin Barlow.
And guys, a name that I'm surprised we haven't called today, Malcolm Epps, the tight end. He's on the field now. Barlow up the middle. What a big hit again by Numura. Second big hit in a row, but 19. Malcolm Epps was a player that transferred in from Texas that they were excited about.
Yeah, they haven't featured Malcolm Epps as much today as the second team has done with Wolf, number 18, Jude Wolf. But he is a big player. Look at him. His freaking arms looks like they're going to touch the floor right now. He's got a massive wingspan, but he'll be a quiet contributor. Last year, I think he had 10 catches for 173 yards and a touchdown, but they love what he's been doing in spring practices.
My theory on that one is he's one of those guys they won't show during a spring game.
Roger that.
So now third and goal. Off the right side, Austin Jones gets the offense back on top of the defense. The Stanford transfer 6 yards up front, gentlemen. That led the way for Jones to get in for the touchdown.
And I think that's the attitude by the offensive line. The offensive line decided we want to show how physical we can be. We talked about it earlier. They want to be a physical offense. They want to be able to run the ball downhill, so they took 3 shots at it. That wasn't a third and short. That was from the 6-7 yard line, and it was just a more physical run by the offense.
Yes, Coach Dennis Simmons and Lincoln Riley said one thing USC will not be is one-dimensional. And the way that they can do that is if they're physical up front on the offensive line. And those big boys, they haven't been given a lot of credit today, but they opened up that hole for the guy Austin Jones, and he ran through it with authority.
It was Mason Murphy. Give him the credit for the big block. We'll give the offense the credit. A touchdown for Miller Moss and crew. We're back after this. Talk about one of the more proud programs in college football history. USC is trying to get out of some of these droughts. Last time they won a Pac-12 championship, 2017. Clay Helton's second season. Last time they led the Pac-12 in scoring, 2005. You know who presided over their teams. In the last national championship, 2004, they beat Oklahoma 55-19 in the Pete Carroll era. There's a look at the college football playoff national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. As we take a look at USC's schedule and what awaits Lincoln Riley in his first year here at USC. First 4 games, the home one, the home opener against Rice. They travel to Stanford in week 2. And then Fresno State, at Oregon State, Arizona State, and Washington State. So guys, the first 6 games, very winnable for USC. First tough one at Utah, October 15th.
Matt, when you think about that schedule, the goal for a school like USC that has been great, I think in the first season, your goal is to win the Pac-12. It doesn't matter what else happens outside of that. The national talk comes later, but the goal has to be win the Pac-12, and it starts in that second weekend with playing Stanford. And that's where you get a chance to go into your conference and make your first statement. Make a statement that USC is back against Stanford, and then we see what happens the rest of the season.
You bring that offense over here from Oklahoma that's led the country in so many categories. Joey, you're right. See if the Pac-12 is ready for what Caleb and Lincoln and Mario and the rest of these offensive weapons can do here in the Pac-12 conference in the west coast of the country, as we see Caleb now back on the field. 1st and 10, ball at the 25. He's going to take a shot deep. That was to Williams. We've seen Robert, kind of the momentum from Caleb in this offense here in the second half go away.
Yeah, we've seen the momentum go away from Caleb in the offense, but Miller Moss has picked it up dramatically. But I can tell you right now, the most impressive thing on that right there was Mario Williams playing defense. That's the kind of receiver I want. If I ever throw a ball and it's not a good one, the safety has a chance to catch it, the wide receiver needs to turn into a DB, and Mario did it right there.
So
I'd be telling you, keep the ball in bounds and let the team get a chance to go catch it, and then we'll worry about it from there, but don't throw it out of bounds.
Told you, you're not getting that from Callaway. Caleb, quick throw back to Mario, and a nice play there on 2nd down and a gain of 8. Jalen Smith.
Look, Joey, every throw is not going to be a perfect throw, and Caleb Williams has had a great day today. He's had a couple misfires, but that's all right. Sometimes the receiver has to help you out. Obviously, either don't throw it, or yes, I'm with you, throw it in bounds.
Yeah, I agree with you. Every throw is not going to be great, but every throw should at least be in bounds. I mean, let's have a chance to play some football.
No doubt, Joey, no doubt.
All right, so bringing up 3rd and 2. Travis Dye back in the backfield. Dye releases. Caleb keeps his eyes downfield, and a great job by the defense again.
That has to be a sack.
That's a coverage sack, because Caleb couldn't find anybody. That was Raylan Goforth on the pressure and the tackle. So there you have it again, that defense against the Caleb Williams offense, able to step up and force a punt.
Now, let's say this. They have to find a way to get more pressure on Caleb Williams. They can't allow him to stand in the pocket. And it makes me wonder, Robert, you can answer this question better than I can, how hard is it to make a quarterback stay in the pocket, especially when you're athletic like you were, athletic like Caleb Williams is? How hard is it to make that quarterback stay in the pocket and throw the ball down the field?
Yeah, that's the thing with quarterbacks that have the ability to use their arm and their legs. When you can run the ball so effortlessly and make plays, staying in the pocket becomes an afterthought. But I think that's what they've worked with Caleb Williams on this entire offseason, is making sure that the first option that he does is throwing the ball, not run the ball. And I think we're seeing that today. He's resorting to running only when no one's there.
So the defense gets 3 more points, 31-27 right now. They've been able to force a couple of stops. And Galloway, I see where you are on the field. Mario Williams is back deep there to punt. It appears he will be their guy to return punts. Walk us through that skill of having to return a punt while also being, actually, let's hold off on that. Let's go to RG3, who's down there with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm right here. I got Caleb and I got Mario. So, Caleb, talk to us a little bit. I know you're frustrated about the last couple of possessions. You started off having a great day. What is the defense really doing to you right now to kind of take away your options?
Defense just responded. We didn't respond as well. We weren't as locked in coming out the second portion of the spring game. So, got to work on that, being consistent. And that's how you win games, being consistent. So, that's always something to work on as a team, defense and offense. So, defense came out and responded the second half, and we didn't respond as well.
Yeah, so we're hearing that you had such a great presence about you, right? I was able to call a game for you last year against Kansas and saw how you took over the team. How do you do that now when you guys had a couple possessions where you're like, we're not really clicking? What does that mean you have to do?
That means I have to be more locked in. I have to enforce and encourage. We have to go out there and we have to execute, elite execution. And one of our guys in the locker room, TK, we call him, he said, football is about moments. Football is about moments, and it's about winning the moment. And when you don't win the moment, you don't come back the next play or next whatever it is, next drive, and you lose that moment. You recover and respond, and you win the next moment. So.
Talking about moments, let's talk about something on a brighter side.
Yep.
You gave presents out to your team a couple days ago in practice. Do you feel like you got any brownie points or win the team over with those gifts that you gave them?
No, you don't win the team over with those things. But you know, that was big for me. I came in here, they welcomed me, and to be able to give back. You know, you see all the things in the public about me, and I'm big on my team. So I want to give back to them for all the hard work that we put in together, building this culture, building this team, and we're going to keep chugging along.
Yeah, man, I think you've done a phenomenal job coming in here, not just winning over your team, but being a leader, and doing that with the presence is a small token of your appreciation to these guys. So you talk about winning moments, I want you to go out there and win this next one when you get on the field.
We'll do. Thank you. Thank you.
At RG3, Caleb Williams, great stuff. This was actually posted. Robert was talking about him giving out gifts. This moment was posted on USC's Instagram yesterday.
I want to let y'all know that I love y'all, and we got a little surprise coming in.
All right, so Caleb gave out headphones, landed an endorsement deal a few days after publicly revealing he committed to USC. And so because of that, he gave every team member a pair of the headphones, a pair of earbuds, as well as the USC T-shirt. So
that was very nice. Matt, you are the quarterback of this team. Caleb Williams said you don't win over a team by giving them gifts. I can promise you can win over this team, Matthew. If you were to give me and Robert a gift, you would absolutely win over this team.
Joey, I gave you my gift by being in your presence at both dinner and breakfast.
Can I give that gift back? I paid for that gift. That wasn't exactly a gift because I picked up the check.
Yeah, you know those checks that go on the expense report.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Guys, great stuff. Robert, great stuff there with Caleb. And you can see, year one, the coaches have been incredibly honest with us, especially Lincoln, that maybe last year Caleb, as a freshman, not ready to be that leader. He was just kind of trying to react to the moment. And Robert, we've seen the maturity out of him just as a sophomore now coming over here.
Oh, Matt, you're 100% right there. Coach said he was just a freshman trying to keep his head above water last year at Oklahoma, and you saw what he did there. But listening to him in that interview just a second ago, you can see the maturity coming out from him, and he understands that not only is this a big opportunity for him, but it's a big opportunity for his teammates to do something really, really special at USC.
And Joey, I thought our conversation as well. Whoa, big hit.
Let's go, Trill!
They're going to throw the flag on that one. Latrell McCutcheon just laid out Brandon Outlaw. Have another look at this.
Now, I can't see the replay down here. That looked like a good hit. It looked like he hit him in the midsection.
I was just going to tell you,
Targeting.
Joe, it looks like he was
defense
the
number
shoulder.
21. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 21 is disqualified for the
Okay, here's the
remainder of the
replay,
scrimmage.
Joey. Look behind you on the replay board.
That was a physical hit,
Oh!
and that's to the midsection. I don't know that you can do it any better than that.
My God, Joey Latrell hit that man like he stole something.
Let's go, Trill!
Yeah, it didn't go well last time I tried to talk to officials, so I'm not going to go ask any questions. But that looked like a clean hit. Hey, look, I might go try it again.
Hey, Joey,
I
earn
got
your
an official
paycheck. Ask
right
him. Do
here.
it. Do it.
Sir, that kind of looked like a clean hit. What do you think?
I got to officiate
Joey!
the game.
Hey,
they're all just saying nope.
Hey, yeah, clearly my man knows where his paycheck is coming from.
So 21 ejected. Joey's about to get ejected. He's been stiffed twice by the officials. But 21 would have been, 21 still out there. So a nice run to the left side. McCutcheon, he's one of the transfers that came over from Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley. You got to bring guys you trust. McCutcheon, one of those players, Joey, that they're very high on.
Yeah, McCutcheon has had a up and down day. He's been beat a couple times, but we also have seen him make a couple plays on the sideline. The one where Robert thought it was okay to throw the ball out of bounds. That was McCutcheon on the coverage, had good coverage, played it well. And that's what being a cornerback is. I mean, you're going to have ups and downs, but you have to stand up, stay in the game. That was a really nice hit on the sideline and something that they'll go back and watch film. He was in the right place, and that was great effort.
Moss, nice job over the middle, moved himself out of the pocket, found Taj Washington. That'll be a first down for the Miller Moss-led offense.
Yeah, you can see here Miller Moss going through his progression, getting to Taj Washington, who is a dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands, but sometimes you got to catch and be a possession receiver as well, and he's showing that he can do that too.
So for the day, 11 of 17, 147 yards and a touchdown from Moss. Ball to 37. Scan to the right, goes back to the left, finds Brendan Rice. And guys at the top of the broadcast, we talked about the transfers. Brandon Rice, one of those. Mario Williams, Jones, Dye, Caleb Williams. We just talked about McCutcheon. It's clear that if they're going to make a run towards the Pac-12 South title this year, it's going to be because of the portal.
Oh, it'll definitely be because of the portal. You're going to see a lot of transfer-to-transfer completions on offense, and on defense, you're going to see a bunch of guys with different helmets on that people aren't familiar with.
Here. Darwin Barlow out of the backfield and a gain of 22. So nice play to Darwin Barlow. Earl Barquette brings him down. And if the last name sounds familiar, it should. Brendan Rice, the son of three-time Super Bowl champ and Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, who's in attendance today.
How about that? Having a dad and Jerry Rice go back and ask questions, Coach. Dad, what do you think? To get that kind of information, that kind of leadership, and that kind of coaching has to be amazing.
Brendan had a nice year in Colorado last year before transferring over, career high against Arizona, 111 yards and a touchdown. But he's one that they expect and hope gets in here, Joey, and gets comfortable right away in this offense.
Yeah, they're gonna need him in this offense, and we've seen some big plays today. But Brendan Rice is a guy with his size and his ability coming into this team. He'll also have an opportunity because he's played some football. He'll have a chance to be a leader for this football team, and we'll see if Rice and some of these other receivers that have transferred in can get on the same page in this offense with Caleb Williams. Now, we've seen Mario Williams do it because they were together last season, but every receiver, if you're going to be good on offense, every receiver has to have that same comfortability with your starting quarterback.
How do you
no
get
doubt
that,
about
Robert?
it, Joe. And you were talking about Latrell McCutcheon, and while you guys were talking there, he made a nice play on the screen there. So corner's a hard position to play, but he's making plays even though he's giving up a touchdown to Mario Williams.
So another nice stop by the defense.
Yeah,
Solomon Tuliapupu on the tackle for loss, but I like the second half effort out of that, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. And Robert, you mentioned the cornerback as a tough position to play, and I would say your second best athletes on your team play cornerback. Receivers absolutely are the best athletes on your team, and then the cornerbacks are the second best athletes, and maybe probably the hardest position to play because you're out there on an island. You have no idea what's happening. You don't have time to look back to see what the quarterback's doing. You have to keep your eye on probably the best athlete on the team and find a way to stop him from running his route.
I would expect nothing less than Joey to say that receivers are the #1 most athletic guys on the field.
We're not running a breaking news animation for that as Moss takes his time over the middle. Finds his receiver again, Taj Washington, and again it's McCutcheon on the tackle. He's had an active afternoon. It's about 1:40 left here in the second half of this USC Spring Game. Dennis Lynch on for the field goal attempts. If he misses, it's 3 points for the defense. 30-yard attempts, left-footed kicker, right down the middle. So 34-27, the offense able to score. We'll get one more look at Caleb Williams leading the first team offense here at the USC Spring Game, 34-27 on a perfect day in downtown Los Angeles. Las Vegas out here in Los Angeles. NFL Draft less than a week away. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're going to have every pick on ESPN along with our usual expert analysis. Also available on the NFL Network, and ABC's coverage focuses on the prospects' journey to the draft. All 3 days also on ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app. We talked to Drake London earlier He's projected to be one of the top receivers to come off the board for USC. The offense up 34-27. Drake Jackson also, when healthy, could wreck a game. So, you guys, look, I don't want to take anything away from both Drake London and Drake Jackson, but the fact that USC really has just 2 NFL draft prospects is one of the reasons Lincoln Riley was brought here. This is a team you can count on for 10 prospects a year.
Yeah, I think that'll change over time. And you're right, that's why Lincoln Riley is here. When you look at guys like Drake London, my goodness, what a talented receiver. The problem with being a receiver going high in the draft is a lot of times you go to a team that the offense was not very good the previous season. And so when you talk about teams like the New York Jets being, I think it's sitting at number 4 in need of a receiver, those are difficult situations for young receivers to go into. But Drake London is kind of talent that any NFL team would like to have.
Oh, without a doubt, Drake London is going to be able to make any quarterback's day a lot easier by his skill set. And I think he's got Mike Evans written all over him. He's that dynamic of a playmaker.
With his size, that is a good comp for London, who we expect to get drafted pretty high. The defense corralling the running back, Jamar Sakona, with the tackle for loss. Bringing down Darwin Barlow. But you're right, Joey, with timing in place, with where a player gets drafted in. And Mike Bone, the athletic director, we had a good talk with him pre-game. He believes the timing and the place for this duo you're looking at, Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, to alter the landscape of college football could be right here and right now. And that's going to be a sack for the defense. That's Julian Simon.
Now, if you're Lincoln Riley, do you run the clock out? Do we start running the clock? And if you're Alex Grinch, you call a timeout. You start.
I mean, they have both options.
You got to manage the clock in these kind of situations, and it appears that Alex Grinch is going to allow this clock to run.
I heard Joey tell the refs at the beginning of the game he wanted it to be a running clock, so he don't want no timeouts right now.
Let's just say Joey's relationships with the officials henceforth. After today, you see the clock count down, and that should do it for Lincoln Riley's. Oh, no, he's going to call timeout. No, he did. Let's see what they're going to do. They're going to bring out.
Looks like they're going to punt, which would then give the defense 3 more points.
So we're a punt away from wrapping up Lincoln Riley's first spring ball as head coach at USC. 60 scholarship players coming into this one. I knew that it was going to be a difficult ask with the number of bodies they have out here. But guys, all told, he wanted to see effort, and I think that we saw that out of both sides of the ball today.
We absolutely saw effort, and I think the effort equation for the defense way more important than the offense. And defensive guys, and they don't have a lot of numbers as you look at their sideline. There's just not a lot of guys on that sideline. And then I mentioned Mekhi Blackman, their best corner, not playing in this game. The effort level for the defense, they should be pretty excited about.
So this just to get some special teams rep to end it. Travis Dye deep to receive the punt. Dye's a guy that can do a little bit of everything for him. We saw Mario Williams do the same thing, and that'll do it for USC Spring Game. 34-27. Offense saw some good. Defense saw some good. As we go down to Molly McGrath, who's with Lincoln Riley.
Coach, the first time that this team has played in the Coliseum in front of fans, what'd you think?
It was fun. It was fun. I thought guys handled it well. Offense played pretty good in the first half. Defense came out and really played well in the second half. And I'd say that's pretty representative of what it's been all spring. It's been really competitive, and I can't say enough about the way the guys have bought in here so far.
How would you grade the play of your quarterbacks today?
I thought they both played pretty well, played within themselves. Had a couple opportunities in the second half that we missed, but were pretty sharp. Caleb had a really good start. Miller played pretty well throughout it, threw a beautiful fade ball there to Kyle Ford, so it was fun to watch him.
Your run game kept some of your drives alive. What do you want the identity of this offense to be?
We always believe in running the football. You have to do that to win championships, period. And if you look at the history of this school, some of the great teams, the national championship teams, were elite at running the ball, and it's going to be our expectation to do that.
Your defense really challenged them, especially in the second half. What did they show you today?
Yeah, we've got a very active front seven. The guys create a lot of negative plays, which has been a hallmark of Coach Grinch's defense through the years. Love the way that group's come together. It's been a battle every single day, and that's how it should be.
Looking at what you saw today and looking ahead to the fall, what does this team need to change? What kind of additions do you need to make to this roster?
Well, we've got to add some numbers. We know that. But I tell you what, the guys right here, we can go win a lot of games with. I love the way that they fought. We'll add some key pieces here in the next several weeks, but these guys have set the foundation, and that's what matters.
You guys have been working towards this moment to the end of spring ball. How good did that feel?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's 4.5 months of a lot of work, a lot of buy-in, a lot of people sacrificing to be here today. So, yeah, for the first time in the Coliseum, great day. Just wait till the fall. It's going to be unbelievable. Can't wait.
You guys have said that you're in win-now mode. What would you deem a successful season for the Trojans?
Yeah, this is USC. We're always in win-now mode. So our expectations are championships. That'll never change, whether it's year 1 or year 20.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you. Fight on.
Molly, great stuff there from Lincoln Riley's. He wraps up his first spring ball as the new head coach of the USC Trojans. Along with him, his star quarterbacks. We go down to Joey and Robert. Joey?
Caleb obviously had an exciting game out here. What are your thoughts on your first spring game as a USC Trojan?
This has been awesome. An awesome experience to be able to help build this culture. And I can't wait for what's next.
Physically speaking, as a veteran player now in your second year, we always talk about how do you feel physically coming out of spring? How's your body feel now that it's over with? This is an exciting time.
Yeah, I feel great. Been working on my body physically, and then obviously been working on my mental. Trying to just upgrade in every way possible.
Yeah, you know, Caleb, when you talk about upgrading in every way possible, have you really shown an emphasis on working through your progression, staying in the pocket, and not only using your legs all the time, but when you only absolutely have to?
Yep, that's been a very, very key thing for me, especially come from last year, is making sure that I'm using my mental a lot more, checks or anything like that, stay in the pocket, delivering the ball, and using my legs when I have to.
No doubt. Now get over there. Go with your coach, my guy.
Guys, stay with me here, Joey and Robert.
Yeah, Mario had to go with the team. They were awaiting him, and so, you know, you could tell his confidence level in this team right now and what they've been able to accomplish in the spring is pretty impressive.
All right, Lincoln Riley here talking to the team to wrap up spring ball. We'll see if we can hear anything he's saying.
Okay, so I appreciate the work this spring. It's been a hell of a spring. And today was a perfect example, all right, of what we've been like all spring. Back and forth the whole way. One side rises, other side comes back. One side rises, other side comes back. Okay? And you listen and you continue to work. The only thing I'm disappointed about, they don't let you more than 15 rounds. You guys have done a great, great job. The staff loves coaching this team. I can't wait to see what's going forward. All right? Be safe tonight. Okay, make good decisions tonight. Take care of yourselves this weekend. Guys, academically, okay, we got to go finish really, really strong here at the end, and then we'll have all your player exit meetings, all that scheduled up for next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do
appreciate
thank
the work.
you for your
Enjoy your
attendance
families,
in the
man.
Airlines
Okay,
Field
appreciate
at
you
the
guys. I'll
Memorial
break it down right
Coliseum.
here. Here we go, man.
Spring ball is over. Up next, they've got the rest of the semester. They'll go away for the summer, then they'll come back for summer conditioning as they'll change and focus towards spring camp, fall camp, and then the regular season. So that'll do it for USC Spring Game. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to talk big picture USC, talk big picture college football with Joey, Robert, myself, Matt Berry, as we're going to wrap up the USC Spring Game and really get you set for the end of spring ball as we look forward to the football season this year. We'll be right back after this. USC's spring game is in the books, 34-27. No surprise, we expected the offense to come out on top of this one, but big story coming in. Of course, the reason we are here on ESPN is Lincoln Riley, the new head coach of USC, trying to usher in a new era. Caleb Williams, the star quarterback, with a numerous amount of transfers that came over to USC with Lincoln Riley. As we welcome back Robert Griffin III and Joey Galloway. And gentlemen, this is how we tease this game. It's the Lincoln Riley start It's the Caleb Williams show, and it's going to have to be all of the transfers that are going to step up this year for USC. And Joey, we saw that early with the relationship that Caleb has with his receiver, Mario Williams.
Caleb started this game off 9 for 9, and I think anybody that turned on this TV today or was in this stadium was looking to see what Lincoln Riley's offense looks like with Caleb Williams in a USC Trojan uniform. Well, he went 9 for 9 to start and made it look real easy, so you're pretty excited about what he did and his connection with Mario Williams coming also from Oklahoma. You can see how well those two play together and how easily they made this offense look moving the ball up and down the field.
Yeah, now of course we know it's the spring game. They're not going to show all the bells and whistles, but you got to see a glimpse of how hard Caleb Williams has worked in the offseason to go through his progressions and only use his legs when he has to. But this roster is going to be different than any other in school history and probably around the country with how much turnover they've had using the transfer portal, but they're trying to do everything they can to bring USC back to prominence.
And guys, for Lincoln to get this thing going, we had talked about how important it was for him to have some familiarity at quarterback to run his offense. He got his guy from last year to come over with him, but it's also equally important for Caleb to be comfortable with his receivers, and early on, we saw that chemistry with Mario Williams with a couple of touchdowns early, Joe.
Yeah, and you can see as you watch this offense and watch Caleb Williams give a lot of hand signals out to his receivers, and I talked to him at the halftime, as you want to call it, and he told me that the entire playbook is open to him when he comes to the line of scrimmage, and you can see his connection to Mario Williams in his situation, gives him a hand signal, let's run a fade, let's complete it, and let's head to the sideline. That confidence in what they're doing is very impressive.
And Austin Jones, Travis Dye, a couple of other players, Robert, they're excited about.
Yes, they are. Travis Dye is a guy I've said has no swag, right? He doesn't wear any gloves, no armbands, but he does everything you want from a running back on the football field. He can run between the tackles, he can run outside, motion him out, have him run routes for you. And Austin Jones is a guy that all the coaches have been raving about all spring. They said you might not know this transfer from Stanford, but you will by the end of the year.
Joey, realistic expectations. If we're being honest and fair about the Pac-12, it has not been one of the best leagues in the country. They haven't been good. They haven't sent the team to the playoff since 2017 when Washington was there. So this is a very winnable situation immediately for Lincoln Riley in his first year in the Pac-12.
You know what, I think when you look at the Pac-12, there's not one team that is dominant in this league. Obviously, Oregon has had some success, and so Utah's another team you keep your eye on. They've been very good in the past few years, but nobody has taken over as that number one team. That used to be USC. That's why you go get Lincoln Riley, to get back to what you used to do in the past. And so in their second game of the season, they get a chance to play Stanford. That'll be their chance to make their first statement about USC and where they stand in the Pac-12.
So Molly caught up with Leonard Williams. He's one of the players that knows what it takes to succeed here at USC. Here's Molly with Leonard.
Here with Leonard Williams. And Leonard, you told me that you haven't been here to the Coliseum in quite a while. How special is it for you to be back, especially with this excitement surrounding the program?
I mean, it's really exciting. I'm going into my year 8 now, and this is my first time being back in a pretty long time. And the culture and change is really great right now. I'm coming back, and I'm seeing a lot of alum that I played with back in my time, and it's just a really good feeling and vibe and energy around the building right now.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley is really establishing a culture that celebrates the alumni, and you guys have been coming back a lot more lately. What do you have to say about the culture that he's creating here at USC?
I mean, I think culture is everything. I think that's one of the most important things, and bringing back some of the guys who laid down that foundation is really important for some of these younger guys to look after, and to see some of these older guys coming back like this is it's a lot for the culture. And I met Riley, and he seems like a really great guy, great coach, and he has all my support.
What did you think of the talent you saw on the field today?
I mean, it's great. I like that kid number zero on defense. I don't know his name yet, but I like the way he looks on defense, and just in general, the energy on the team. Everybody seems to be competing at a high level, and the energy and competition just seems a lot different.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
And in due time, we'll have some MLS. You take a look at LAFC's beautiful stadium. Coming up next on ESPN, Minnesota United FC and Chicago Fire. So we'll be back to wrap it up. Perhaps get some USC predictions year 1 of Lincoln Riley as spring ball is complete here at the Coliseum. Really has It's been a fun day here at the Coliseum for USC Spring Game, a new era of excitement. The weather was perfect. The fans are out having a good time. Jerry Rice spending time with his son, Brendan Rice, who transferred in from Colorado, showing off his jewelry, hoping his son can get one here at USC. Final thoughts here from Joey Galloway and Robert Griffin III. Robert, I'll start with you.
Yeah, my final thoughts are that USC is prominent, and the Pac-12 needs USC to come back in a strong way. Based off what I saw today, they definitely have the talent to get it done, and the scary part is there's going to be more help on the way in the transfer portal in the summer.
Yeah, we came to see Caleb Williams, obviously get his start here at USC, and what an exciting start it was. He played well today. His offense played well. Now we'll see what they add to this team, especially on the defensive side. This could be a really good USC football team.
Guys, awesome stuff from you guys all afternoon. For our producer, Bill Palladino, our director, Michael Roig, Molly McGrath, Jonathan Wiley on the field, Robert Griffin III, Joey Galloway. I'm Matt Berry. Coming up next, MLS Soccer, Minnesota United FC against Chicago Fire. So long from the Coliseum.